What's going on? It's your boy Kerry Too Smooth. If you're watching this video, that means you really want to learn how to play R&B, neo soul, or gospel. So today's lesson is going to be a little different. It's more of me talking about why I chose to go with the Silver Sky. There are a lot of people out there that really feel strongly and passionately about is this guitar really great? I would never play it, or I would play it. And at the end of the day, this is one thing that I've learned since I've had the guitar. I've had the guitar now for close to 3 weeks, almost a month. Is that you got to play what you like. Don't play a guitar because somebody made it. Play what you like. And I'm going to unpack that a little bit more as I talk through this video. But I've had so many questions, so many people inbox me. Tell me about it. What is it? I would tell you, simply get one in your hands. That's the best way to have an idea if a guitar is right for you, if it fits you, if it suits you, if it suits your style of playing. If you don't have it in your hands, you're never going to know. My public opinion, I know it's one of that you can definitely value. I understand that. But what I'm saying to you is that you and I are two individuals. We have different tastes, we have different likes, we have different dislikes. So what I may like about the guitar, you may not like. What you may dislike about the guitar, I may like, and vice versa. There's so many different ways that you can look at it. So I would tell you, if you're able to get your hands on one, you would get one. And that way you can have your own kind of ideas. So the very first time that I played a Silver Sky, I played one at NAMM like many years ago. And I honestly did not like it. And it could have been because the guitar wasn't set up to my liking, which now that I think about it, that's probably what it was. I was very off-putting. I was like, man, this guitar, like, what's the rave about? What's everybody, going in about? And it was because the guitar wasn't set up the way that I wanted it to be set up. Mind you, the Silver Sky in a specific color, I believe it's Orion Green, had been on my wish list for a very, very long time. So when the opportunity came for it to be available in a maple neck, I jumped at it. So when I got it, I played it, and I was like, I can tell it felt very stiff in the sense of it wasn't set up the way that I wanted it to be set up. But I was more accepting to it because it was a brand new guitar. Usually with a new guitar, you have to get it set up to your liking so that way it can play the way that you want it to be played. So I was a lot more gracious in the sense of I gave a lot more grace to just be like, okay, cool. It has potential, but I need to get it set up. I am an HSS guy. So that means I like to have a humbucker in the bridge for those that may not understand what that means. 2 single coils and 1 humbucker. That's my setup. I am a Strat style guitar guy. I have several Strat style guitars in my possession, in my collection. That is one of my typical go-to kind of guitars. I do play a lot of other styles, but it's typically one of my go-tos. I knew once John and Paul got together that it was going to be a very attention to detail type of guitar. I know I've listened to a lot of documentaries. I listened to a lot of videos where Paul talks about his craftsmanships. I listened to John talk about like what he wants out of a guitar. He's very articulate. He can convey way more in detail than I'm able to convey. I'll be like, I can say like roundabout, he knows specifics, which I think is also something that was very intriguing. I watched the video where they were both talking about like the process and how they made the guitar, going back about the, how many spins it took for the wiring for the pickups, the headstock configuration, all of these different things, why they went with these particular tuning pegs versus other types of tuning pegs. It's the attention to detail that made the most sense for me. I've been playing PRS guitars for a very long time, and I love their overall craftsmanship. But I wanted a guitar. Number one, I was, like I said, again, intrigued by the color and the headstock and the wood, the maple neck. But I also wanted another HSS guitar that could play the way that I wanted to play, because the ones that I have sometimes require a lot of work. When I mean a lot of work, when I'm playing them, they're not as fun to play, but they sound great because I have them laced with the pickups that I like, right? I've even had them set up, but it's just like, I realized that some Strat style guitars or some Strats, they just don't hold tune very well. Their neck's position, it's just a lot of different things, a lot of quirks with them. Sometimes you may get a good one, sometimes you may get a Mexican Strat that's better than an American Strat. You got so many different types and models that don't necessarily play the way you wanted to play. So I was intrigued. Once I got the guitar in my hands, I realized that there are a lot of things about this particular guitar that I liked. The jumbo frets. I have bigger hands. I'm not saying that my hands are massive, but when I play, I have long fingers, and I like to ensure that my fingers land in between the frets. This guitar allows me to play accurately. I like the fact that I can bend the strings, and like when I'm going for crazy solos, it's like I'm not missing notes. There's so many attention to details that I really appreciate about this guitar. So I'll just show you the guitar, right? This is my Silver Sky. I have it laced with the two pickups are stocked, but in the bridge I have a Lambertone Crema, which I'm a huge fan of because that's just the guitar pickup setup configuration that I like. So I want you to see this is not the SE model, and there's nothing against anybody that has the SE model. But I've had people ask, if you have the SE model, which model do you have? No, this is John's regular signature model. Initially, I thought I was not going to like the guitar, but I've really fallen in love with its playability. Like I said again, John and Paul's attention to detail, and just even why they went with the tuning pegs, because they didn't want the guitar to be out of tune. Just the offset of the neck, how they flip the configuration of how the neck is. There's so many different things. Once I got this guitar set up to my liking, it became a great playing guitar. So what I want everybody to do, if it's possible. Now, I know a lot of times people just have random questions and they just ask because for the sake of asking. If you're not going to go get the guitar, don't put that much energy into it. If it's something that you're really considering, then I would say go put the guitar in your hands. Typically for me, I like to have a guitar in my hands at least 2 to 3 times before I decide to pull the trigger on it. The reason why I pulled the trigger on it, I talked to a couple of other guitar player friends of mine that I value, that I know we have a similar playing style. And I was like, okay, you went with this. What were some of your reasonings? And I know they play at a very, very high level. So I respect their opinion. So it made me more apt to be like, okay, cool, I can try it. But then once, like I said, I had it in my hands, I knew I needed to get it set up, and I knew I needed to have the pickup configuration that I wanted in order to really give the guitar a fair shot. And after I got it set up the way I wanted it to be set up, it's been smooth sailing. Like I haven't had any real issues. It's different from my other guitars that have humbuckers. So I've had to adjust the volumes here and there and various things and learn how to play the guitar. This is one of the things about guitars. You got to learn how to play it. Each guitar is different. Each guitar has its own personality, has its own characteristics, has its own sweet spots that may not be as sweet as the next guitar. It's like I was telling my son, who's just starting to learn how to drive. He's like, oh, your car is different from mom's car. They're all cars, but they drive differently, just like guitars. They're all guitars, but they play differently, they handle differently. I charge you to really pay attention to the nuances of the guitar. Like I said, again, if this is not something that you're really serious about, like if you're not planning on getting one, don't exhaust the energy to do like, well, what's it about? I feel you. It's sometimes you're curious, and that's all cool, but I'm saying don't exhaust the energy if you're not really going to try to get the guitar. If you're really thinking like, yo, I really want to play it, I really want to see what it's all about, go put your hands on it, man. Try it out at least 4 to 5 times, 2 to 3 times if you're, whatever. If you got the opportunity to play it multiple times, play it multiple times before you decide to pull the trigger, and ask yourself, is it worth the investment? Is it worth me playing? And if it's yes, then go for it. If it's not, then hey, just keep moving until you find the right one. The right guitar is out there for you. It may not be this guitar, it may be the next guitar, and it's okay. But just know that once you get it set up the way that you want to get it set up, especially if this is if you just like regular, like the SSS type, you don't like the humbucker in the bridge. Mind you, I had to get it modded. Now I had to take it to a guy, my tech, and actually have him route the guitar. That may not be what you want. Get the guitar set up how you want to get set up. I implore you to do that. Like that is imperative if you really want the guitar to play the way you want it to play. Don't be like, well, Smooth has got like a humbucker in his bridge, I want to be like him. If that's not how you typically play, and that's not really what you're going for, stay with what the guitar is. If that's what you're going for, by all means. I have a Lambertone Crema in the bridge. This thing rocks. This thing can kick, as you already, this guitar is phenomenal. I've taken it on the road. I've used it for live shows. I've used it in recordings. It's a great guitar. It's very fun to play now that I have it set up. So that's just my opinion, man. I love y'all, man. I hope that, this video provides some level of insight for you, because that's all I wanted to do, was just to hop on here and to kind of give you some insight. I'm on the road right now, so I figured let me make this video to send it to you guys, because I want you guys to get the full brevity of what it's all about. I love you guys, and I'll talk to you soon. To get more help with your guitar journeys, watch these videos.